Viewers, and YouTubers, what's up, y'all? This is GA Turks. As you all know, that on July 6th, we lost another individual by the name of Mr. Philando Castile at the hands of another officer during a routine traffic stop. What's unique about this particular incident is that after he had gotten shot, his girlfriend, Ms. Diamond Reynolds, began to record the situation on Facebook Live. Now, in response, on July 8th, country recording artist Cafe Anderson uploaded a Stop the Violence safety video for when you get pulled over by the police. Now, it was viewed by over 30 million viewers, and people started to drag him through the mud. Now, a lot of my viewers were asking, what did I think about the Cafe video, as well as if I thought that the police officer who shot Mr. Castile, if he would be indicted or not. Well, the answer to that is no. I don't believe that the officer who killed Mr. Castile will spend 1 day in jail. But not only will I tell you why, I will show you, and I guarantee you that my reasons will probably shock you and are not what you think they will be. But first, let's take a look at a few seconds of Mr. Cafe Anderson's video so I can bring it all together for you.
You have to have your ID pulled out before the cop gets there. Because if you're reaching down, as he walks up, you could be pulling a weapon, which is going to compromise his safety, which is going to make his adrenaline go up. Listen to what I'm saying. If you already have your ID on the dash, you have your hands here. As the policeman walks up, he's going to have a view here, license and registration. Patrick is going to say my license and my registration, or my CHL, concealed handgun license, is on my dash. I am reaching for it. Patrick, slow and steady, reach for your license.
My license is on my dash, and so is my registration. It's here.
There.
And
other hand on the wheel, fingers out. Done. And that's how you hand it over. Because at the end of the day, the policeman wants to go home safely. We want to get home safely. Even if the cop is having a bad day, you have to go home. You got to make it home. You're needed. This is a big deal. The cop has your information. You're still here. Radio is off. The car's completely off. Hands here, fingers extended. Say that your wallet is on the right-hand side behind your back. Reach for your wallet. Reach for your wallet. Now, from this angle, he could be pulling a weapon. It's just the appearance. The Bible says stay away from the appearance of evil. This is what we want to do. We want to give the devil no place. So if he's pulling here, it's the same place as if you would have a gun. So if he's pulling here, that's the danger of actually opening up yourself to saying, I may have a weapon to pull something on you. If it's here, hands on the dash, fingers exposed, it's a much safer place to go. Get over to the shoulder, turn your car off, turn your radio down, ID on the dash, fingers out, hands extended. Guys, listen, this is about going home. There's a big disconnect because at the end of the day, it's about stereotypes. A lot of stereotypes that they see of African American men are not positive. We've been there. We've all seen it. And guess what? I want to break the wall down between what we really don't know about each other to what we can learn from each other. So let's make a simple protocol that can get you guys home safer on the police side and on our side. God bless you. I wish you.
So he did that video, and over 30 million people watched it, and people were extremely upset. Now, let me explain something to you. I thought the video was very intuitive in the sense that it pointed out that police officers are exposed to things that we are normally not exposed to. Now, I can only imagine how this could affect a normal person with this type of responsibility. Now, wait, I'm not saying that I support police brutality or bad cops, nor am I saying that racism doesn't exist. But what I am saying is that I can kind of see how cops can have a heightened sense of awareness to danger that we are not exposed to. And for our safety, being aware of these truths and this cop perspective can only better shape our response when we are stopped. And I know you're saying, okay, but what about when we do comply and we still get shot? I'll get to that, I promise I will. Now, how to act or interact with an officer during a routine traffic stop was never taught to me when I was younger. It wasn't taught to me in school, nor was it taught to me while I was studying for my driver's license. In fact, I never got this lesson until I was about 23 while attending one of like 3 defensive driving courses. And come to think of it, the instructor who gave us the information was also a part-time cop. He kept emphasizing cop perspective because you just never know where that cop is coming from. He could have just came from seeing a dead body. He could have just come from a hostile situation, a high-speed chase, a shootout. You just never know. But he wanted us to know that the cop had a reason to be concerned about his own safety. Now, you would think that the dangers of being a police officer would be common knowledge or common sense, but there really is a disconnect amongst the people, and we are always often left with feeling like, why are they acting that way? Now, people, I know that there are bad cops. We do know that. Let's put that on the table. But let's be honest. There's a group of people out there who we know once they are stopped, they will lie, big bar, steal, cheat, twist logic, threaten, bribe, and cajole to get out of a ticket. So it's a two-way street. That's the reason why officers should have a sensitivity training, as well as the people need to have a safety awareness training. Now, in regards to the shooting of Mr. Philando Castile, people were so upset with Mr. Anderson's video that they had a lot to say. But there was one person who kind of summed up a lot of people's thoughts. Tyshawn Gardner on Facebook said, "Man, please, so people have to do all of this to make an officer feel safe? When they ask you for your ID and you reach for it and they shoot you anyway, then what? Why are we acting like the drivers are the problem?" And then he asked him, "Why don't you get a video training officers how to treat and encounter black people?" I think that was a good idea. Sensitivity training. Now, one of the major needle points for people was that Mr. Castile had a license to carry a concealed weapon, and he informed the officer that he did have the weapon on him. So he followed the correct protocol by letting the officers know that he had a gun. And I've heard over and over again that this is strictly taught while trying to obtain a license to carry a concealed weapon. So how did it go from following protocol to being killed? Well, take a look at this video as his girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, tries to explain exactly what happened.
We got pulled over what allegedly was supposed to be a broken tail light. When he let us know that we had a broken tail light, he asked us, were we aware of it? We said no. As we said no, he tells us to put our hands in the air. We have our hands in the air. At the time as our hands in the air, he asked for license and registration. My boyfriend carries all his information in a thick wallet in his right side back pocket. As he's reaching for his back pocket wallet, he lets the officer know, "Officer, I have a firearm on me." I begin to yell, but he's licensed to carry. After that, he began to take off shots.
Now, wait a minute now. Let's role play. You are the officer. Now, you ask them to put their hands up and then ask for their license and registration. Mr. Castile goes to reach for his right pocket to get his wallet out. Now, she stated and illustrated that he had a thick wallet in his back right pocket. So now you as an officer, you don't know that he has a thick wallet in the back of his right hand pocket that he has to pull out in order to give you the information that you requested. None of this has been explained to you at all. But what he does say as he's reaching for his wallet is, "Officer, I have a firearm on me." Now think about this. Do you know how hard it is to get a thick wallet from out of a back pocket? So even if the officer took a split second to figure out what was going on, he is now tussling with a wallet, trying to get it out, a thick wallet, trying to get it out of his back pocket. And now to intensify matters, to add icing on the cake, she admitted by her own words, she started yelling. Now, if you're on the outside and you have traffic on the outside, who knows if you're able to make out what she's saying? But she's saying, well, her own admission is that she was saying, "But he has a license to carry." Now, let me explain something to you. Two things that I get from this. For her to start yelling at that point, one, that she realized that there was a mistake being made because he started reaching and then said, "Officer, I have a firearm on me," without saying, "But I have a license to carry." So immediately she realized that there was clearly some type of mistake, because there's no reason for her to start yelling like that. Now, the second thing is if I'm an officer, but the driver just announced that he has a firearm on him, you can no longer see his hands, he is tussling with something on his waist, the passenger starts yelling. It really doesn't matter what she says. All of this is abnormal. All of this is abnormal. Now, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, whenever somebody starts yelling, I have no reason but to believe that something is about to happen. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, how do you think an officer is going to respond to this? How would you, as an officer, respond to this? How would you respond to this? And sadly, how do you think a grand jury is going to respond after listening to her own admission as to what happened? Now, she goes on to say,
"It's either you want my hands in the air or you want my information and my identification."
But on her Facebook Live video, now evidence, you can clearly hear the cops saying,
"I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand off it."
But guess what else she put on her Facebook Live video?
We had a busted tail light and we had some weed in the car. That's about it.
Again, people, what do you think that the grand jury is going to think about this? Sadly, people, let me explain to you about a grand jury. This is a group of people who gets to decide whether or not to bring charges against an officer. And they only get to hear from the prosecutor. That's right, only the state gets to make arguments to the grand jury. And if the evidence is presented the way that Diamond Reynolds, his girlfriend, presented it, there's a very good chance of returning a bill of ignoramus or a no bill. And that is where the officer is completely cleared and forgiven for all the charges. Look it up. Look it up. When they say that anything you say or do may be used against you in the court of law, it pays to be quiet until there is an attorney present, people. So no, sadly, I do not feel that the officer who shot Mr. Philando Castile will be indicted. But let me digress back to the 3 questions that were asked against Mr. Carpe Anderson's safety video. The first question, man, please, so people have to do all of this to make an officer feel safe? You damn skippy. Being aware that an officer has a dangerous job, but wait, scratch that. Being aware that officers are equipped with weapons that can be used against me to keep themselves safe is reason enough to make the video standard and protocol. It should be taught in high school, driver's ed, and defensive driving just to help aid in the disconnect, man. Now the second question, when they ask you for an ID and you reach for it and they shoot you anyway, then what? I told you I was coming back to that question. Now y'all, when you know all of the information, when you know all of the facts, this is just a statement to befuddle the people, to confuse people. It ignores and leaves out vital, crucial information. Diamond Reynolds' explanation details everything to counter this type of question. Had the information that was presented in the safety video about Mr. Anderson been available for people and had been taught throughout consistently, then we could have had a different outcome today. Sadly, I hate to bring this up, but Mr. Castile would have had his information, his ID and everything out before the officer got to his vehicle. That's one. 2, Mr. Castile probably wouldn't have reached for his weapon while stating at the same time that I have a firearm on me. And I really don't know what to say about 3. His girlfriend's untimely yelling at the most unlikely moment possible, which probably amped up the entire situation. Now this whole situation was brought before Black Lives Matter. And in my opinion, Black Lives Matter is a movement that is very important and it is serious and it should be taken seriously. Now, do I think that Mr. Castile should have been killed? No, I don't. Do I think that we should be alarmed and worried and concerned and upset about all of these shootings? Yes. But if we get nothing else, we can see through Mrs. Reynolds' explanation of the situation that there's a disconnect between the training for obtaining a license to carry a concealed weapon. They're teaching people to report during a routine stop to the officers that they have a firearm on them, but they're not showing them everything that needs to happen for their own safety. And this needs to change. And I'm not sure why they're making it easier for people to have guns. The whole training that teaches officer perspective and driver safety protocols should be taught thoroughly and should be named in honor of Mr. Philando Castile. And the third question, why are we acting like the drivers are the problem? After listening to Diamond Reynolds explain what happened during that stop, there is a problem. When drivers don't have all the information needed to conduct themselves from creating an environment that keeps them from getting shot, there is a problem. When others can go online and try to discourage, put down, or disdain training that could save other people's lives during a safety routine stop, there's a problem. And if you are one of the ones who are against the video and encouraging people not to watch it or talking down on the video and keeping people unsafe, when I say speak life into justice, it's a mighty lesson to be learned. Mr. Philando Castile's life mattered, and it doesn't have to be in vain. We can learn from this. I once heard Jane Elliott, the anti-racism activist, say in a video, to educate is to be in the act of leading people out of ignorance. The definition of learning is to have a change in behavior. Y'all, this is G.A. Turks. Please be sure to be safe and most of all, be aware. And also don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this channel. Whether you like this issue or you're against it or for it, this matter of justice is, it's a mighty lesson. Speak life into justice, not injustice. Until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.